just a book it man. I'm cool. I'm cocky. I'm bad.
Welcome to Book It a Wrestling podcast for the fans, by the fans. We book, rebook, and revisit your favorite wrestling storylines. I'm your commissioner, Lil X Fudge, and today we are here with your GMs, Damone, D Money.
It's a me,
Who?
Mario.
We'll take
Should
it.
have said like Demonio.
Demonio. Ugh.
Yeah.
Demonio cereal. Probably like
Demone,
fig
E-O.
flavored.
Demone,
No.
E-O.
The bad guy, Kenny.
Oh yeah.
And the second question mark return of Hi-Fi Mike.
Deo.
Yeah.
Is a Deo.
And tonight, we continue on with the Book It verse. We are in the trenches, deep into Book It verse 4, trying to find our way out and finish strong. We've got Damone's show up next. Soon, we've got my show, which will be even worse. And then, we got like a million
Who's
years of
going
Travis
down?
shows, which will be even worse. So it's all downhill
great way to
from
sell
here.
The podcast. Love it. Listen to this
Oh,
podcast.
but here's
It's
why
the
you have to
worst.
tune in, because the bad booking is just as fun to watch as the good booking. If Book It Verse was all competent booking, what was the point? We're here to see some Russo-esque mistakes. So
No,
speaking of, welcome to Pro Wrestling Renaissance. Damone, take us away.
So Pro Wrestling Renaissance presents No Quarters Given. So the night starts out with Matt Stryker and Joey Styles welcoming the fans to the show. Joey says, Matt, we have an action-packed night show for you all tonight. Matt says, that's right, partner. Tonight, the future of PWR will take shape. Join us on this roller coaster ride. So the first match, so I'll start off with the build. So after defeating Ricky Steamboat at Evil Shinigami, which is comprised of Kota Ibushi, Kenta, the Great Muta, Shinsuke Nakamura, and manager Paul Heyman, are in the ring to open up the next week's episode of Sin, which is the weekly. Kenta is sitting in, or not Kenta. I don't know why I wrote Kenta. Kota is sitting on the throne while the other men stand behind him. Paul steps forward with the mic. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the royal advisor to the greatest cruiserweight champion in professional wrestling history, the last emperor, Kota Ibushi. And it is my great honor and privilege to stand before you all here tonight and tell you, we told you so. We told each and every one of you that Ricky Steamboat wasn't quite good enough. Ricky is a hell of a competitor, a champion everywhere he's been. But he's not as fast as Kota. He's not as strong as Kota. He's not as smart and cunning as Kota. And most importantly, he doesn't have the warrior spirit that Kota has. Kota proved that this Saturday, and then what was left was the broken and bloody body of Mr. Steamboat in a bloody broken heap. Show the footage. We then see they show the video of Kota beating down Steamboat post match and standing over him as Ricky is a bloody mess. Let this be a warning to anyone who dares step up and challenge for the throne. If you take your shot, you better not miss. Because when you do, and you will, the next thing you'll see is a nurse asking you if you remember how you ended up in the hospital. And that's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. Cola smiles menacingly as he holds up the title, and then we cut to commercial. So the following week, Kenta and Great Muta are scheduled to be involved in the tag team or gauntlet match that week to determine the new number one contender to the tag titles. But when it's their turn, their music hits, but they don't come out. We then see that they've been both laid out in their locker room, and their faces are covered in red liquid, so that so they get counted out, and the Storm Brothers continue on in the gauntlet. General Manager Freddie Blassie comes in and asks what the hell happened. Kenta keeps saying it was him. It was him, the dragon, Ricky. He has the red mist. Kenta says his paramedics try and wash his eyes out, or try and wash their eyes out, and you just hear them screaming in pain. So the next week on Sin, Coda and Paul are in the ring. Ladies and gentlemen, this is normally the part where I say my name and let you all repeat after me, but not tonight. Tonight is not a night for fun and games. It is a time for anger and rage. The last emperor is not happy, which means none of you are allowed to be happy either. Last week, Kenta and Great Muta were viciously and violently assaulted by a coward, Ricky Steamboat. And that cost them the gauntlet match and the number one contendership for the tag team titles. Ricky, you have angered the Emperor. He wanted those tag titles to come to Shinigami, and you took that from us. So you must suffer the consequences for your actions. The Tron pops up, and we hear Ricky Steamboat, or we see Ricky Steamboat, who's sitting in a dark room. In Japanese lore, there are ghosts believed to be capable of causing harm in the world of the living, injuring or killing enemies, or even causing natural disasters to exact revenge or vengeance to redress to redress the wrongs it received while alive, then taking their spirits from their dying bodies. They are known as the Unreal. When I was a child, I was fascinated with this idea. I read every book I could get my hands on. I even pretended to be one for multiple Halloweens. It got to the point, though, where it went from fascination to obsession. I started to believe that I was possessed by an Unroyo. So my parents burned all my books and banned me from even uttering the words. So I buried that part of me deep, deep down. At Evil, I tried to do the right thing. You see, you were the better man that night, and I was ready to admit that, but you just had to keep pushing, didn't you? You just had to make me taste my own blood. But then, as I was being helped to the back, it woke up. It woke up the side of me that has been dormant for so many years. So I want to thank you. Thank you for awakening the violent, dark version of Ricky Steamboat. You see, I am your Unroyo, and I will make sure that I do everything in my power to take everything and everyone you care about away from you, piece by piece. Last week was just the beginning. Isn't that right, Mr. Nakamura? The lights then turn on. We see Ricky is wearing an royal mask, which is super similar to a Hanya mask. And behind Ricky, we see Nakamura with his hands tied above his head and his legs bound and his mouth gagged. And he's bleeding profusely from the head. Sorry, I didn't catch that. He then grabs him by the hair, then licks some of the blood off his face. He then takes a stick and violently smashes it across Nakamura's
We all
abdomen.
got a theme going.
Blood looking, yeah.
Yeah.
Until
Be
it
into
breaks.
that shit.
Yeah, you popped to when Hangman drank blood, so
I hadn't heard the drinking before, but I've heard the licking twice from you.
True. And I do
Ain't
have
nobody done a
vampires
second
on.
drink yet. By the
And I
second
That's
drink,
all
you might be like,
nasty.
hey, I don't know about
And-
this.
It's all nasty.
and I do have vampires on my show too. So yeah, I guess there is a theme. He then takes a kendo stick and violently smashes it across Nakamura's abdomen until it breaks. I said, "Isn't that right?" As Nakamura shakes his head, hoping to not get hit again. Now, me and not Mr. Nakamura have more to discuss in private, but I promise you, Kota, I will be seeing you next week. The lights turn back off, and we hear muzzled screams from Nakamura as Ricky laughs maniacally. Kota, for the first time since taking on the last Emperor persona, looks a little nervous and worried as we head to commercial break. So the next week, we see Paul Heyman pacing back and forth in their dressing room behind Kota, he's on the phone. You still haven't found him? What's taking you so long? We paid you good money to find him, and you still haven't. You're useless to me. He then hangs up the phone. My Emperor, I just got off the phone with the private investigator, but they still haven't found Shinsuke or Steamboat. Kota says, Paul, have you ever heard the legend of the dragon? No, I haven't, my Emperor. When I was a young... that's what Paul Heyman would do, too.
I'm all laughing. It's like, instead of my tribal chief is my emperor.
Yes.
Timon said, let me copy your homework. I'll change it a little bit.
That's funny.
When I was a young boy, my father passed it down to me.
A young boy, my father.
That song's not going to be stuck in my head. Thanks.
Me into the city. You said it. You said my father twice so far.
Yeah. My father, he passed it down to me. Whose father passed it down to him, and it's been passed down from generation to generation. Many, many years ago, dragons lived amongst us, and they were peaceful, but it was a very delicate balance. Then one day, a poacher made the grave mistake of taking a dragon's egg to sell. In response, the dragons burned the city to the ground in search of the egg, except for one house, where lived a young man named Zuko, who had always been kind to the dragons and helped them find the missing eggs and return them to their home, despite risking his own health. Yet, were you going to say something, Mike? It looks like you were.
No, I'm just
Okay.
Avatar Last Airbender.
I did do that on purpose, the Zuko reference. The legend says that as an award for his help, he was given the dragon's breath, a liquid so potent that it's only rivaled by my black mist. It burns with the power of 1,000 flames. Only Zuko's direct descendants are able to harness its power, which it appears Ricky is one of them. So he now has the power of the dragon and the Unroyal. We must stop him before he learns to master them, because once he does, he will become unstoppable. Paul says, but how, my Emperor? Leave that up to me. It is said, if you sit by the river long enough, the bodies of your enemies will float by. Later that night, Kota has a tune-up match. He beats Scotty 2 Hottie pretty easily with a Golden Star Bomb. He starts to beat down Kota, but then the lights turn off, and out comes Ricky at the top of the ramp, which causes Kota to stop the attack. Kota, I'm not out here to fight you right now. I'm here to issue a challenge for this Saturday at No Quarters Given for the Cruiserweight Championship. Paul Heyman says, absolutely not. Ibushi is angry and snatches the mic and scolds Paul. Then he whispers into Paul's ear. Paul says, my apologies to my Emperor. I should have never spoken out of turn. Mr. Steamboat, Kota agrees to your challenge, but only under one condition. The match is contested under Imperial rules.
Please
Ricky
tell me
Steamboat.
this is not just bloodline rules or
No.
Samoan rules. Is bro just like erasing every Samoan thing and putting a Japanese thing to get me to like the bloodline? Like,
No,
this is
it's
a
not.
scheme. Like,
Or not Coda.
Roman San. Like, I see through.
Ricky says, "I accept." He then tries to spit. He's made his way into the ring at this point. He tries to drink or spit Dragon's Fire, which is the red mist. But Coda ducks and it hits Paul instead, who begins screaming out in pain that it burns, as Coda slides out of the ring and he pulls Paul Heyman with him to the back for medical attention. As the last image we see is Ricky smiling with the liquid pouring down his mouth. Backstage later on, we see Coda and Paul backstage, with Paul getting like the medics checking out his eyes and stuff. Coda is staring into the distance. Paul, yes, my emperor, call her. Are you sure? If you do this, there's no turning back. I said call her and make the arrangements. Yes, my lord. Paul picks up the phone and says, call Sue Young. Then it cuts to black. So on the pre-show for No Quarters Given, it's revealed that Paul and Coda returned last night from a trip to Japan, and we see the footage. They're in a Japanese temple, and we see a group of hooded figures surrounding Su Young. We see Coda. He's wearing an all-black kimono, and he walks in. He walks over to Su Young, and their interaction is only in Japanese, but we have the subtitles. So obviously we understand it. Do you understand the gift and curse you are being given here today? Su Young says, "There's no turning back. Once you have been consumed by the Dark Lord, Makabashi, the God of Evil, there is no turning back. Yes, I understand and fully embrace his powers." She motions for Coda to drop to his knees, which he does. She has Paul, who is standing behind her, hand her a black cup. Then she hands it to Ibushi. The legend says that the spider lily was created by Mikabashi himself. One sip of the spider lily poisonous tea will kill a normal man within seconds. But if you are truly worthy, you will live forever. Ibushi drinks the liquid, and we see him begin to struggle like internally, and it's like starts to kind of shake violently. Paul tries to go over to check on him, but Sue says, "Stop where you are. He must prove himself worthy." Coda, who's sitting with his head down, but suddenly becomes motionless. Paul looks really terrified and worried. Coda then suddenly sits up and he lets out a scream so loud the windows in the temple begin to break as Su Young smiles. The transformation is complete and she starts laughing maniacally as Coda, breathing heavily, looks up, and we see that his eyes are now completely white. So for the match itself, the rules are put on the screen before the match starts. There is no DQ or count out. The only way to win is by surrender. Each man has selected a delegate who may surrender for them in the event they are unable to. Coda selected Paul Heyman. Ricky selected his wife, Claudia. However, any sort of interference from anybody will result in immediate surrender. So it's one-on-one. You can't have anyone help you. So Ricky Steamboat is out first, wearing green and red attire and the Unroyal mask. Out next is Ibushi, and he's wearing Super Shredder inspired gear. So for the spots, so Ricky goes right after Coda when the bell rings and backs him into the corner and hits a series of elbows and a stinger splash. Coda rolls out of the ring and he consults with Paul. Coda gets running start, then goes for the suicide dive on the outside, but Coda pulls Paul in front of him, and he gets wiped out instead. Coda hits a Northern Lights suplex, followed immediately with a Tiger suplex. Coda hits a standing shooting star press. Ricky counters a snap suplex attempt and hits a brain buster. Ricky throws Coda back into the ring and throws weapons into the ring. He waits for Coda to stand up, and he hits it with a diving crossbody. Coda ducks under a clothesline, and he hits a spinning heel kick. Coda takes a steel chair, and he smashes it over and over again on the back of Ricky. He then sits up the chair, and he hits a running backbreaker through the chair. The ref checks on Ricky, and he refuses to surrender. He says, the ref asks him if he wants to surrender. He says no. Coda goes for the 450 splash, but Ricky gets the knees up. He then gets up and he whacks him with a kendo stick until it breaks in half. Ricky sets up a table and he places Coda on it, climbs to the top rope, and hits a moonsault through the table. Ricky tries to lock in the Dragon Sleeper, but Coda manages to escape out of it and chop blocks the back of Ricky's leg, then begins to slam the leg into the mat over and over again. Coda locks in a heel hook, but Ricky refuses to quit. He manages to fight his way out, and as they get up, he hits an enziguri. Ricky hits a pile driver onto the steel chair, spiking Ibushi's head spiking Ibushi on his head. Coda manages to barely just whisper the word no when the ref asks if he wants to surrender. When Coda stands up, Ricky smashes him with an unprotected chair shot to the head that wraps the chair on his head. So like the trying to think, like when was it Undertaker? Like it got wrapped around his head, like hit it so hard like it folded onto his head.
There's a couple people it happened to.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Mike Awesome is who I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like it's violent, like it's a loud, unprotected chair shot. Ricky goes to the top rope for another body or cross body, but Ibushi meets him up there and he hits a top rope Frankensteiner. Coda throws Ricky out of the ring and hits a tope con hilo to the outside. He then removes the padding on the floor, exposing the concrete, and he hits Tiger Driver 91 and tells the ref to ask him. Ricky says, "Screw you, Coda." Coda puts Ricky up against the barricade and goes for the Boomeye, which is the Kinshasa. But Ricky manages to barely move, and Coda goes through the barricade and is like holding on to his knee. Ricky wraps a chair around Coda's knee and hits a running double stomp. Back in the ring, Ricky locks in a Boston Crab, trying to force Coda to tap, but he still refuses. Coda manages to turn himself and kick his way out. As Ricky comes running, he hits a drop toe hold. Or sorry, I wrote that wrong. As Coda comes running, as Ricky comes running towards him, he hits Coda hits a drop toe hold, sending Ricky face first into the into tacks that are laid out on the ground. And then Ricky's busted open. Coda hits the Golden Star Bomb and asks for the referee to check. Ricky again says no to quitting. Coda grabs Ricky by the arm and stomps him in the face over and over and over again. Then he mocks him, like, and it's like smacks him in the head, like it pretty much paintbrushes him. Coda grabs Ricky by the arm, or no, for that. Coda slides the steel chair into the ring. Then he sets them up, or sets he's the steel steps. Sorry, he slides the steel steps into the ring, and then he sets them in the corner, like where they're like standing up. He then lawn darts Ricky into him. He then takes a light tube and he smashes it over Ricky's head. Coda is trying to go for the Boomeye again, but Ricky falls down when he tries to stand back up or sit back up. Coda stops short and then he like mocks him because he fell back down. He's so hurt. He goes to grab him, but then Ricky spits the dragon's fire, so the red mist, into Koda's face. Koda starts grimacing in pain. Ricky then hits a spinning spine buster, then immediately locks in the dragon sleeper. Koda is super close to tapping. And at one point, Paul's about to throw the towel in, but Koda tells him no. Koda manages to get to his feet, and he drives Ricky into the exposed turnbuckle. But Ricky doesn't let go, so he does it again with even more force, which causes Ricky to let go. Koda rolls out of the ring, and he grabs water and washes out his eyes. Koda goes back in the ring and goes for the Golden Star Bomb, but Ricky fights out of it. Ricky tries to lock in the Dragon Sleeper again, but Koda escapes and spits the black mist in Ricky's eyes, or Ricky's face, his eyes. He then hits the Golden Star Bomb, but that's still not enough. Ricky's still refusing to quit. Koda goes under the ring and finds a lead pipe wrapped in barbed wire. He cracks Ricky in the ribs with it, and then he locks in the Koji clutch with a steel pipe. Ricky tries to fight out of it, but is unable to, and he passes out. But Koda isn't letting go. Ricky's wife sees him like going limp and not moving, and she throws in the towel, and the ref rings the bell. Your winner and still PWR champion, the last Emperor, Kota Ibushi. Kota lets go and holds the title over his head. Ricky's wife goes over to Ricky and she's trying to wake him up, see if he's okay. Kota sees this and he drops the title on the ground and he goes over to her where they are. He grabs her by the hair, pulls her up, and hits a Golden Star Bomb on her, and then moves her lifeless body on top of her husband and stands over them as Paul holds the title behind him, smiling. That's it. That's the first match.
All right. I'll start this.
Okay.
Okay. I did like this. Then the match was pretty good as well. I really didn't see anything I really didn't like. So I'm personally going with the 5.
Thank you.
Damone,
Yes.
you did it. You made me like the bloodline.
You like Asian bloodline?
You like Asian bloodline?
No, this was really good. I liked all the things you pulled from, all the different influences I like. The promos you did. There wasn't a character I disliked in this. Even Paul Heyman was bearable. Which is not usual for him.
It's a crazy statement to say Paul Heyman.
I hate that motherfucker. I know everybody meat rides him. I hate him. I stand on business. By the way, vote me hater of the year. But fuck him. Anyways, yeah, this is getting $5. I really like it.
You. Mike?
Yeah, so there was definitely some corny spots. It felt like some problematic Japanese gods you made up there.
That god was not made up. Mikabushi is a real god. He's really the god of evil.
You said it right. The way you were saying it sounded real off. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if we're going after getting.
No, it's a real god. That's a real person. I purposely made sure that's a real thing. The only thing that's made up is the Su Young part. Really, and the story about the dragon and stuff is made up too, obviously. But the gods' names and stuff and Unroyo and all that part's real. That's a real thing.
It's a 5 either way, but I just I had some good laughs.
The Zuko thing was mostly the pop you and Travis.
Yeah,
it popped me
too. I figured as much.
Hey,
and with fire and dragon and stuff, it made sense.
Right. No, it was good. I liked it.
John, you gave it a 5, right?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Clean $5.
So behind the scenes, that because now you guys grade it. Not that it really affects anything. I had the whole time I had Coda winning, but originally I had Ibushi tapping, and then I changed it last minute to the wife throwing in the towel so that Coda or doesn't just kill his character that the new character Ricky just got. So
Yeah,
that's why.
it felt like
And
an I quit match would help. He was like, hey, by the way, I quit. I just don't want to be the one to quit.
yes, he'd rather pass out and almost die than quit. So his wife had to quit, and then Kota Ibushi said "fuck her" too, and power bombed her. Okay, so the next match. So at Evil, the triple threat match between Indy's Brock Lesnar, Indy's Big Show, and Bam Bam Bigelow. He's just normal Bam Bam. For the 305 Live Championship ended when all three men did a springboard at the same time into each other, knocking each other out in the process, which led to Brock retaining as champion. On Sin, we see all three men in Freddie Blas's.
That should have been that should have been a ring breaking spot. Like they all like springboard into each other and then hit the middle and then the ring just fucking breaks.
They springboard and they try to crash, separated, and then like they knocked themselves out. Yeah, so we see all three men in Freddie Blasie's office yelling at each other about who should be the champion right now. Freddie's sitting there for a while, letting it happen, and he finally stands up and says, "Enough already! You three buffoons decided it was a good idea to crash into each other in midair, and you knocked each other out, which means that match ended in a no contest, and Brock retained." Show says if it was a one-on-one match, which it should have been, instead of adding Zoolander over here, I would have won the match. Bam says, don't be mad at me that no one's knocking down your door for a magazine cover. Also, didn't he beat you for that title? So if anyone shouldn't have been in that match, it's you. Brock says, one-on-one, I'll beat either of you. No, no, no. That's not what we're doing here. Blassie says, I call the shots around here. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, at no quarters given, we are going to make history. It will be the first ever 6-man Ultimate X match in PWR history, and is going to be for that 305 Live Championship. Brock says, but how's that fair? That isn't fair. Kid, fair? I don't care about fair. Fair is just a place you go to ride, rise, and eat cotton candy. This is professional wrestling, not ballet. You three are automatically qualified for the match. Starting next week, we're going to have 3 qualifying matches for the remaining spots. Now get the hell out of my office. The 3 men exit the office as Blassie gets back to work, and they're like still bickering and arguing with each other. The next week is the first qualifying match, which pits Otis versus Vader. Vader wins after executing the Vader bomb. Vader takes the mic and says, at no quarters given, it's time, it's time, it's Vader time. The following week, it's Top Dollar versus returning Umaga with Armando Alejandro Estrada. Estrada distracts Top Dollar, which allows Umaga to hit the Samoan spike for the win. And on the go-home show, it's Bronson Reed versus Ivar for the last spot. The other 5 men who are already qualified are at ringside. The match ends with Bronson coming out on top with the tsunami. After the match, Bronson gets into Brock's face and says the title is coming home with me. As he turns away, Brock pushes him in the back, which starts an all-out brawl between all 6 men. Big Show is the last man standing after he choke slams Brock, picks up the title and raises it above his head as the camera pans, and we see a trail of just all the other competitors are like laying out all over the place from the brawl. So for the match itself, again, this is just spots. All 6 men are in the ring, and complete chaos breaks out when the bell rings. All but Bronson Reed end up on the outside when Bronson hits a suicide dive to the outside, taking everybody out. Bam Bam hits a military press slam on Umaga, followed by a body avalanche. Big Show chokeslams Brock Lesnar through the announce table. Vader hits a face eraser, which is a standing wheelbarrow face buster on Bronson. Umaga hits a hip tap on Bam Bam and tries to use the X, but Big Show slides in and power bombs him off of it. Big Show hits the biggest moonsault ever on Umaga, but when he gets up, he immediately gets a hit with an F5 from Brock. Brock is standing tall when Bam slides in and tries to clothesline him, but Brock ducks under and hits a German suplex. Vader slides in, same thing. He ducks under, gets the suplex, followed by Bronson. Again, he gets suplexed. Brock starts to flex, but then he gets super kicked by Umaga, but he doesn't go down. Big Show gets up and he spears Brock, but then Big Show gets hit with a Samoan spike by Umaga. Vader hits Umaga with a side belly-to-belly suplex, then a spinning back fist. He then goes to the top rope and he hits a Vader salt, but Bronson hits a tsunami on both men. Bronson is making his way across the X when Bronson. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say this. This is so it's just the one where it's the full like beams and everything, and then there's the X like above the ropes too. But like there's like a small, really narrow platform that they can go up on, but you can't get the title from there.
So wait, you're combining Elevation X and Ultimate X?
So they still have the ropes. They still have to climb the ropes to get the title. But like, if you look, there is one where there's an X above there too, above the ropes. But they can't and it's a very narrow walk.
I'm not asking no questions. TNA, TNA, TNA.
That comes in hand and
Make
that
it more
becomes
convoluted. That's what I like. Do an elimination with some points and a penalty box too.
An Elevation X penalty with a penalty box would be crazy. Bronson is making his way across when Bronson pulls him down, catches him on his shoulder, and he hits the F5. Bronson goes to the top rope, sees the other 4 on the outside fighting, and hits a shooting star press to the outside. Bam and Big Show are fighting in the ring. Big Show gets Bam up on the top rope. It goes for the superplex, but Bam fights out of it and he turns it into an avalanche. Greetings from Asbury Park. Umaga hits a pop-up Samoan drop on Big Show, then the diving headbutt. Bronson hits a death drop driver on the steel steps to Brock. Brock throws Vader out of the ring with a belly-to-belly suplex, but then just gets chokeslammed out of the ring by Big Show, who turns around into a headbutt from Bam, and then Bam hits a running Cobra Clutch Bulldog. Umaga gets Bam on the announce table, and he hits a wild Samoan splash through the announce table. Brock, Big Show, and Bam are on the ropes. Are all on the ropes, so like the ropes they're trying to climb across to get to the title, and they get near the title, and they start kicking and hitting each other, trying to knock each other off. Bronson, Vader, and Umaga all slide into the ring. They grab them. They each grab one of them. Then they yank them down, and they hit simultaneous power bombs. So all Brock, Big Show, and Bam all get power bombed off the X. Brock and Bronson are on the beams above the X, and they're throwing strikes, barely avoiding falling off with each strike. Bronson gets the advantage and goes for the brain buster. But Brock manages to avoid it, and he F5s Bronson off the platform. Big Show hits a final cut on the platform to Brock, then throws him off of it, sends him crashing through a set of tables at ringside. So there's like tables stacked up at ringside. Big Show throws him off of the platform. Brock goes through him. Big Show makes his way down and is progressing towards the title when Bam hits him with a steel chair, knocking him down. Bam hits the Bam Bam Salt to the outside on Vader. Bronson Reed hits a King Kong lariat on Big Show and then begins to climb while everyone else is down. He makes it about halfway across when he looks down and he notices that the Big Show is starting to move. He pulls himself up a little bit and then like starts to swing and gains some momentum. And then he lets go and he hits a flying tsunami from um, the ropes from the ropes. Bronson is back up and climbs and starts to make his way to the title. Brock climbs to the top rope and he spears Bronson off the ropes. Bam makes his way to his feet, and when Brock gets up, Bam hits greetings from Asbury Park. Bam manages to make his way to the corner and makes his way across, and he pulls down the title and is your new 305 Live champion. Bam Bam Bigelow.
All right, I'll start. Um, I I think the match is really cool. It's different. It's spot heavy as an Ultimate X 305 Live should be. And you're bringing the best set of talents with the Indies versions. So in ring, I got everything I wanted. The storyline did not do like anything for me. You know,
This is definitely a match centric.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. For the same way.
like,
Yeah.
but Damone, what I
Yes.
care about, and what I care
Matches.
most about is the match I get on the pay per view, because the pay per view is what I'm more likely to watch than the weekly show. So, um, y'all don't fuck Kenny. You don't watch every weekly show. Don't shake your head. You're more likely to watch a pay per view than a weekly show. Shut your ass.
I watch them
Uh,
all.
Watch every weekly show.
I'm 2 for
Yes,
2
I
for
watched them all. I
Raws.
watched the only thing I didn't watch was every AEW show, but I was watching Dynamite, I was watching Raw, SmackDown, NXT, watched
Unless you,
TNA. I did
unless
stop
you,
watching TNA for a little minute because that shit got
unless you're watching Rampage, it doesn't count.
yeah, I was never watching Rampage. I'll let you know that right now. And I watched the first week of Collision, but that was it.
We all did. We watched the first and second week of Rampage because the first week because it was new.
I didn't watch that.
Second week because that's the week that Punk came back,
Yep.
and
I
then we
watched a few
stopped.
weeks of Rampage, but with Collision after week one, I saw them Jim Cornette signs, and I knew the direction that show was going. And then by the time they fixed it, it was already like just another Rampage.
I
It's like,
forget that. I every Saturday it's like 10 o'clock, and I see the like on Facebook later, like, oh yeah, this happened on Collision. I'm like, fuck, I
Almost
forgot
as-
that was a thing. Forgot
almost as
every
a-
single week.
A Saturday.
I
show
do
is
watch
But-
my week. I devote every weekend to them. I watch all the weeklies.
that is what you watch too much weekly shows. I mean,
am-
respect. They need you. They depend on you for their income. But
Mike,
I'm
what
more
were you
likely to
gonna
watch
say?
pay per view,
in
so I care more about the match.
2025
And with that said, I'm
Well-
giving you a 3.5 just for the match.
Thank you. What were you saying, Mike?
in 2025, I am 2 for 2 for Raw so far.
Well, there's one now, so
that one doesn't count yet. Tomorrow,
okay.
Bro,
You're
watch a
watching tomorrow.
Dynamite or a TNA or something. Change it up.
no, this is a change. This is what I went.
Oh, yeah,
from-
he's watching
Technically,
Yes, that
yeah,
is.
he's watching any wrestling. He's a change from the last
I
like
don't know how
3
that
years.
Netflix Raw was what
3
drew you
years.
in.
We're
That
talking
shit
like
was
when did
mid.
we start this podcast?
What?
When did we start this podcast? That's about
2018.
I think 2020 is probably when I stopped watching weekly.
I don't watch weekly. Like I'm in and out. So like I'll watch NXT weekly for a while, and I'll stop, and then
Yeah.
I'll go back. Same with Dynamite. Like I'll watch it for a little bit, and then forget. What usually happens is it'll be like 9:30 on a Wednesday or whatever day of the week. It'll be like, oh shit, this show's going on. It's almost over. Fuck it, I'm not watching it, and then I don't go back.
See, I get reverse draw. Usually nothing they promote in advance will draw me. I'll just hear about something that was good on the show, and then I'll want to go back and
I
watch
think
it.
that's just the way it works.
Like, you gotta draw me in reverse. Like, do something good, then I'll go watch it. Like,
Dude, that's the thing with me. I won't if I don't watch something a pay per view live. There's a 95% chance I'm never watching it.
No, that's me. I couldn't tell you what outside of the big four, I couldn't tell you a pay per view. I don't think I've watched any other pay per view.
Great Balls of Fire.
And even that, I mean, I'm talking like the last few years. Great Balls of Fire has been a thing for a very long time.
It was only once.
Yeah. Great, best pay per view of all time.
I was about to say I watch the pay per views live, and then any weekly show I either watch it the very next day. That's back when Hulu had them all, or I'd watch them all on the weekend because I have it recorded on my DVR or whatever thing it's called now.
I don't know why. Well, see, Hulu, like, it took what, 30
It took
days?
24 hours.
Or was it?
It took 24 unless you were talking about SmackDown. Then SmackDown doesn't
was
come out until
30 days.
Sunday,
That's
which
why I
sucks
never
because you're trying to watch
watched
SmackDown, and then at the same time the pay per view's coming out, and you're like, can't watch that.
What did everybody rate this?
I give it a 3.5.
Yeah, what's that? I'm doing my rating now. I gave it a just straight 3,
Okay.
and that was all for the match. I felt like John. I didn't care anything about the story. It was all about the match.
Yeah, it was a very match heavy. It was. I'll admit there wasn't a lot of build.
That's what I felt. I was like, it wasn't anything for real.
We're having Ultimate X.
4 1/4.
You said, what did you give it?
4 1/4.
About 4 1/4.
Yeah, it's pretty much just they were fighting over who should be champ. Blassie said, "Fuck it, we're doing a Ultimate X because we fucking can."
Ooh, excuse me. It's hard. It's multi-man matches. They're always harder to book for.
Yeah, do the build for. Okay, so as I do it, well, it's a tag team match, so it's a multi-man, but it's not. So next we see the package for the next match, which is the tag team championship. So at Evil, Dan's Theory defeated the Absolute, which was Ricky Starks and heel Del Vikingo, and a last dance street fight to become the new PWR tag team champions. All the goodwill I made with John is about to go away.
Shit.
On the next scene, we see clips of them at different clubs dancing and partying with the titles. It's announced that the next week there will be a championship dance party.
Okay, that would draw me in though. I'm talking all this shit, but like I love that the match were like Better Than You, baby, and then like fucking Jericho Appreciation Society had a dance off mid match. Like I got drawn in when MJF's like, "Yep, I'm gonna have a fucking bar mitzvah." Like that's the type of thing that draws me. Like, so this might work.
So the new tag team champions come out that week. Yo, Austin, we did it. Austin says, "Yup, we are your new PWR tag team champions of the world." And what better way to celebrate that than with a dance party? Everybody, come on out. So a bunch of the baby faces come out to the ring, including Toxic Attraction, Dalton Castle and the Boys, Dusty Rhodes, the Headbangers, and Too Cool. DJ, play that music. Everyone in the ring starts to dance as DJ Zima starts to play the music. The highlights are Too Cool. They do their signature, the Too Cool dance,
What song is playing? Hold on. What song? You can't say the dance and music and not tell us what song.
It's a mix. It's the Jock Jams mix.
I was hoping you were going to say play that funky music because that's play that funky music.
He said Jock Jams.
That might be in there. I don't remember.
He said Jock Jams.
It's a real thing. Jock Jams.
No, I know. Thing. That's why I'm laughing. It's pump it up while your feet are stumping.
There was a commercial on TV, right? That was one of the late night commercials too. They had like the mixes, the Jock Jams.
No, that's what that. Oh yeah, Jock Jams. Yeah, that was definitely one of the like late night ones. Usually like now, yeah. This is what I call music 94 or whatever the hell it was. There was definitely one of those. Jock Jams was definitely one of those. So
get your booty on the floor now. Take my day.
So Too Cool does like their signature dance move. You see Dusty doing the Tootsie Roll. The Headbangers are headbanging. And the boys,
They're headbanging to that.
yeah, they're headbanging to that.
I don't think that's how that works.
They got a headbang. They're the headbangers.
The headbangers, they got to be headbanging. And the boys, they have to help Dalton get up when he tries to do a split, but he hurts himself. So they like have to help him up. Dan's Theory is about to take their turn when suddenly the music stops. Everyone looks over and we see Rhythm and Bruise, which is Honky Tonk and Johnny B. Bad. They're standing at the DJ booth with DJ Zima on the ground. Sorry to interrupt, but our invitation must have gotten lost in the mail. There's no way you could have a dance party without the best tag team and band in the world, Rhythm and Bruise. Don't you know that Johnny has unlocked every character in Just Dance and always down for a little jailhouse rock? Dan's Theory says, "Hey, we don't want any problems. We're just trying to have some fun and celebrate our championship win. We didn't want any problems either. But now we feel disrespected. Now that you didn't even think of us, and now what happens when you disrespect us?" Johnny says, "We got to put on our blue suede shoes we got to put on our blue suede shoes and take you both down to the Heartbreak Hotel." Honky says, then he smacks Garcia. So they walk to the ring as they're talking, and then they get in the ring, and Honky Tonk says that, and then he smacks Garcia. Both teams start to brawl until they're separated by the people in the ring. The next week, there is a tag team battle royal to determine the number one contenders. But Rhythm and Bruise slide out of the ring and they join commentary. They keep singing and playing guitar poorly to the dismay of Joey Styles as Stryker continues to hype them up because Stryker is like the heel commentator. When there's only Too Cool, or when Too Cool eliminates the boys from the match and they think they won, Rhythm and Bruise slide back in the ring and they eliminate them to become the new number one contenders. The next week, a special Rhythm and Bruise concert is announced. Honky is sitting on a stool with his guitar while a piano is set up for Johnny. Honky strums the guitar. Mike, I almost texted you to actually strum the guitar at this point.
Oh.
Well,
you did.
Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your applause until after the performance as the crowd loudly boos. We know, Bruise. And we appreciate the love, but please quiet on down. Now for a brand new hit, original hit, never heard before. We present to you just a snippet, because you're going to have to pay for the rest, but just a snippet of Hound Dog. This there ain't nothing but a hound dog crying all the time. This there ain't nothing but a hound dog crying all the time.
I hate you.
Well, you ain't never called a rabbit, and you ain't no friend of mine. The crowd boos loudly. Thank you. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the love. Next is Tutti Frutti. Before they can start, we hear Good Vibrations come on, and Dan's Theory comes out to the ring.
I forgot that was their theme song. That's so nasty. Marky Mark.
Say which good vibrations.
The Marky Mark one.
It's definitely Marky Mark.
I was hoping it was going to be the the Beach Boys.
Nah.
No.
Come on.
Feel it.
Feel it.
Garcia grabs the mic and says, "Okay, that's about enough. These people don't want to hear you sing." And they're not saying bruise, they're saying boo. Johnny says, "Yeah, bruise. No, booze. Bruise, booze, bruise, booze, bruise, booze." Okay, let's just ask them. Theory says, "Now, are you guys saying bruise?" As he points out to the audience, and you just hear a pin drop, like no one's saying that. Or are you saying boo? And the crowd goes crazy with a deafening boo. These people are idiots. Who really cares what Atlanta, Georgia thinks? To even more booze. So though, why don't you leave our ring? Sorry, wrong person. Theory says, so why don't you leave our ring so I can talk to my people in the ATL as the crowd goes nuts. You know what? We'll leave. We know when we're not welcome. Let's get out of this hick town before we get their stank on us. Honky and Johnny start to leave the ring, but then Honky smashes Theory with the guitar, and Johnny throws Garcia into the piano, and then smashes his head in between like the piano door, or not door, but the thing. Now that's what I call an encore. See you boys Sunday. They grab the tag titles, look at them, and then they throw them on Theory and Garcia's motionless bodies. So for the match itself, so the spots. The match starts with Johnny and Garcia in the ring. The two lock up. In Theory, has the advantage, and he pushes Johnny into the corner. Garcia makes a clean break. Then he hits the light. I'm calling it the light skin dance. The dance that Garcia does. He does that when they break apart. The two lock up again, but this time Johnny gets the advantage. Does a clean break, and he does a hip swaying dance. So he's just jiggling his hip, swaying the hips. So Garcia hits a Russian leg sweep, then locks in an armbar. Johnny manages to scoot to the ropes, and Garcia breaks the hold. Garcia goes back over to Johnny, but he pokes him in the eye, then hits a snap suplex, then tags in Honky Tonk. Honky Tonk locks in a headlock. Garcia manages to get to his feet and punches his way out, but Honky immediately gut kicks him and hits a DDT for a 2 count. Honky scoop slams Garcia, then goes to the corner, stands on the middle rope, and hits a diving fist drop and goes for the cover. Garcia kicks out at 2. Honky tags in Johnny Be Bad again. Johnny hits a running splash for another 3 count. Johnny Irish whips Garcia into the corner, then hits a splash, then a series of chops. Johnny goes for the splash again, but Garcia moves out of the way. Garcia manages to make it to Theory for the hot tag. Theory comes in on fire, and he clotheslines Honky back to back to back. Theory then hits a snapmare into a running or a jumping foot stomp, then a standing moonsault. He goes for the pin, but Honky kicks out at 2. Theory Irish whips Honky, then hot shots him into the ropes, then goes to the apron when Honky gets up, and then he goes to the apron, and when Honky gets up, he hits the Rolling Thunder blockbuster. Johnny breaks up the count at 2. Theory tags in Garcia. Garcia hits a triple swinging neck breaker. So he hits a swinging neck breaker, holds on, gets him back up, hits it 2 more times. He then locks in an STF. Honky manages to make it to the bottom rope. Garcia then hits a shotgun drop kick. Garcia goes for the gotch pile driver, but Honky counters with a back body drop, then a running leg drop, and goes for the pin. Garcia kicks out at 2. Honky tags in Johnny. Johnny goes to the top rope and hits Wild Thing, which is a shooting star press. Theory breaks up the pin, but then Honky comes in after him, and the two brawl to the outside. Johnny is distracted by that, which allows Garcia to get up, and he hits the gotch pile driver. 1, 2. Johnny kicks out at 2. Theory makes his way to the apron, and Garcia tags him in. They hit the Cabbage Patch, which is the snapshot, which is what was Eminem's finisher, which is a delayed flapjack into an elevated DDT. 1, 2, but then Honky pulls the ref out of the ring as they're arguing, and he pulls the ref out of the ring to break up the count. The ref's arguing with him. As this happens, Theory charges, runs, and goes for the suicide dive, but Honky sees this and pulls the ref in the way, and the ref gets taken out instead. So the ref is down. Honky then throws Theory into the barricade. Johnny notices what's going on, and Garcia is now distracted. Johnny low blows Garcia in the ring, and then Honky Tonk slides back in the ring, and they hit Out of Tune, which is their finisher, which is a high-low clothesline. but there's no ref. Honky then goes and he grabs his guitar. Johnny picks up Garcia and he holds him up as Honky slides back into the ring. Honky like twirls the guitar a little bit and like pretends like it's a baseball bat. He lines it up for the shot, rings back, but Garcia manages to duck under, and Honky accidentally cracks Johnny instead, whose head goes through the guitar, and he falls to the ground. Honky is like crap, goes to check on him, but when he turns around, he gets super kicked by Garcia. Theory then gets into the ring, and Dan's Theory hits the Crank Dat, which is a shatter machine. The ref comes to and slides into or makes it back into the ring. 1, 2, 3. Your winners and still PWR Tag Team Champions, Dan's Theory. They celebrate by dancing while Rhythm and Bruise argue about whose fault it was for the loss.
Well, I'll start by saying the right team won. But this is also like the election between the giant douche and the turd sandwich. But at least the turd sandwich won this time. So I'll give you that. This is very up and down. Like Dance Theory is one of those things I love to hate, but Rhythm and Bruise I hate to hate.
I knew you wouldn't like it because this is one of Travis's from
Ground Zero.
Ground Zero. Yeah, the Ghost of Ground Zero. So I knew you wouldn't like it.
Okay, Kenny took Ground Zero. That's ground -1. But and it's not just because they're a ground -1 team, but it's just because I particularly didn't like Rhythm and Bruise the first time. Like I had reasons other than just hating Travis, which is reason enough. But yeah, this was not your finest day.
It wasn't meant to be serious. I knew this was good. I knew this was bad.
Oh, I know.
I knew it was bad as I was writing it.
I'm saying
I laughed.
amongst your dumb shit, Simone, I've given you some of your dumb shit 5s. You know I ride for that. But amongst your dumb shit, this is not your finest.
I laughed. So
I'm gonna give this a Travis mid of a 250.
Oh yeah, I'll take it.
Because like half of it was pretty funny and entertaining, and then like half of it pissed me off. So I'm just gonna rock with it there.
Mike, what you got?
I laughed a lot. You got a $5 for me, dog.
Thanks. It's meant to be stupid.
I'm not gonna lie. I also gave it a 5. I enjoyed every second of this.
It's crazy when I'm serious. I hate y'all.
Listen, I had fun with it. I would have enjoyed that. See the dance party get broken up. All that would have been fun.
Even though once upon a time you gave me a very low score for something similar in the form of a costume battle royale.
Who, me?
No, he's talking about
gave
me.
Low scores.
No, I defended you to the death on that one.
Oh, I did not. I didn't like it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't like it.
Oh, I love the costume party. I gave it like a 4 or something.
This is in the same vein, so it
I've
pissed me
changed.
off, but it's still well, fuck you.
The costume party was way better than this. Don't let them.
To be fair, that was when I was a dinosaur still, and I needed mat wrestling and a ton of psychology and hated flippy shit. So I have changed.
Couldn't handle a backflip. Then he's grown.
Yeah,
I get it.
I've
That was
grown.
Bucket verse 1.
We've all changed since then.
Yeah, I don't like promos anymore. Like
I've just decided to do at least once a show. I gotta do some dumb shit. This is that dumb shit.
Please do some other dumb shit so I can enjoy it. Like,
I'll try.
Thank you.
That's gonna be the first half of my show. The next half will be next week.
Hey, that's how you end the show.
We wrap up on Rhythm and Bruise versus Dance Theory. Man, I already know that Travis is going to give that a 5 too. That's like the thing you think Travis would hate, but you know he's going to love. I guarantee that's a Travis 5.
You know,
That's
It's
how,
either
my.
Travis
you know how
5
the
or
kids
a
these days,
0.
you know
Except
how the
he's gonna
kids these
hear me
days say
say that
fine
and give it
shit.
a 4.99.
You know, the kids these days say fine shit. That's what that segment was. It was fine shit right there. That's what that was. I loved
It's such good shit.
Now look,
it.
that's Kitty's way of saying such good shit.
It was amazing. It was, mwah. I loved it,
All right.
They gotta hit that crank that.
I don't think
bro.
Kenny
Crank,
said
I
that
ain't gonna
about
lie. I
anything
popped
I've
for crank
booked ever.
that. I was hoping it was a submission move. I was hoping it was a submission move.
No, it's a shatter machine.
I was hoping it'd be like a double arm. I don't know, like a double arm breaker or some shit. I wanted that to be a submission move so bad.
Maybe I might change it if I use Dance Theory ever again. I might change it to like a double label lock or something.
Oh, but yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
Well, that concludes part 1 of Pro Wrestling Renaissance. No quarters given. That name pisses me off too.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. I meant to tell you that. I didn't like that.
I had come up with a better one during it, but I forgot what it was.
Trust me, Damone probably did too and gave up on those.
Yeah,
No quarter giving. You ain't got no quarters from me. You got fives from me. That's what you get from me.
that's not the type of quarters it means, but
I know.
I think I gave you 425 in there somewhere, so you did get a quarter.
yeah, I
Oh, I
did.
thought that the quarters was like a play on the D Money scale.
No, it was
No.
like like I forget the exact. Like it's pretty much means like no mercy, no surrender, that sort of thing.
I
Like
forgot what
no,
it was. Damn, I had come up with a really good name that would have been.
Is that
better
like a
than
British term or
quarter.
something?
No.
yeah, it's a phrase that means to refuse to spare the lives of enemies, even those that are unable to defend themselves or have surrendered.
No quarters.
I still feel like you could have.
It's
done
a war.
better.
It's a war crime and a violation of international
You should have just
humanitarian
called
law.
this. Should have just
War
called
crimes.
this War crimes.
Yeah, that sounds like this show. Like,
I would love if they actually like presented this as a show and they had the definition underneath.
Or
It
that
comes
actually
in,
would
it's-
be like how it starts, like the before, like the all the like you see the it says no quarters given, then the dictionary definition of it.
and then you
I-
just see live footage of every war crime and mixed it with wrestling clips.
I don't know,
Like
I
you
was
see
thinking
fucking
instead of like the
like
wrestling, we got
Hiroshima
WWE
and
and pulling it up.
Nagasaki and the dance theory hitting the gritty. Like
I was imagining it. You do it like Law and Order, like it just turns into a Law and Order episode.
That's crazy. It just starts off with a crime immediately.
Yeah, war crimes.
War crimes.
That'd be insane.
you see like fucking tear gas and then see like Rhythm and Bruce hit
Dun, 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 dun,
Running
Elon
bam.
Musk
Man.
runs out giving the salute.
There,
Ugh.
here in PWR, moves are especially heinous.
I
Our
know.
promos are especially heinous.
But that wraps up our episode. Let's find out where to find these dorks. Hi-Fi Mike,
How
can we
we
find
were
you
still
yet?
recording. You can't find me.
Still can't find Mike. Fuck him. D Money, tell him where to find you.
You can find me on all the bullshits except for anything owned by Elon Musk at DumbMoneyT13, DAMONEYT13.
Well, Elon's probably about to own all of it, so buckle the fuck up. Bad guy, tell us about your
Back to
37 shows
MySpace.
before Elon buys those two.
Does Justin Timberlake still own part of MySpace?
Yeah, I forgot he did. When they tried to bring back
He
MySpace
tried to
for like
bring
a
it
month.
back. I was hype, and then he fucked it up. It was all a scheme to sell advertisement.
I
Bro
remember
lost
I remember
all
you got
the
on there. It
music
said
on
old
there.
MySpace and new MySpace.
Yeah.
You had to choose one you want to go to.
And I went to new MySpace, and it's bad.
Who wants to go to
It was
new
real bad.
MySpace?
It was not good.
It wasn't good. I was like, let me
It
go back to
it
the
was
old
not
one.
MySpace anymore.
But you can find me on all
MySpace.
social medias at Bad Guy Spoken. Catch the Bad Guy Spoken podcast on YouTube. You can also catch Unbiased, the football podcast you see on the same channel. We talk about number football on there. And you can also catch Hood Movie Review. Review all your favorite and not so favorite Hood movies. And you can also catch Not a Real Court, where we argue things like best fruit and I don't know. Just best of everything. Best and worst. Argue about it all right there. Just debating. You want to see us argue? Go on to that. And then you can also catch Geek in the Sheets, where we talk Marvel, DC, anime, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, all that shit. Eat your nerdy little heart out.
Yeah.
Don't forget
If
his
you want to find
MySpace
me anywhere, you
link.
can find me 2 places. First, it was Blue Sky, Heel Pepsi Man. Search for that up. That says Heel, Hell, Pepsi. You know how to spell that, man. If you don't know how to spell that, you're fucking dumb. And
respell it.
HELL?
Yeah,
HECL.
You
Did I
said
misspell
H-
heel?
You
Yes,
said
you did.
I'm fucking
HELL.
dumb. Well,
I was like,
we're
hell
dumb
Pep-
together. That's
hell
what makes us
Pepsi
American.
Man.
We saw how
He
it
said you're
went.
fucking dumb if you know how to spell it. That was like HEL.
Our
I
president signing.
thought I misheard it at first too, and I'm like, did he misspell that?
My stuff's been skipping, so I just assumed he spelled it right. So I was like, all right.
Hey, our president signing executive orders with a fucking crayon right now. This is America.
This is
But
America.
you can also find me in the Reach for the Ropes wrestling discussion group. That's where the birthplace of all this began. We're currently talking about best entrances in there. Somebody said that Jey Uso's is the best, but I saw Penta's today, and that is a lot. So if you want to discuss best entrances today, go discuss it. With that said, it's been an episode of Book It. See ya.
Bye.
Oh,
Mike,
I
you gotta
gotta
hit the button.
button.